All right, class, mic's on. We're about to flip the script. This is the Takeover Class of Culture, a student-led podcast where curiosity sets the table and culture is always on the menu. Here, young voices flip the script on who leads the learning, and in our classroom, we explore culture, identity, and the heart of it all. What does community mean to you? From shared meals to shared struggles, nothing's off the table. Pull up a chair. This is where learning gets real.
What does community mean to you?
I think within the word itself, it has unity.
Yeah.
And I think unity is about people being included, inclusiveness, and people being seen, but also people being encouraged to kind of know that they have the potential to be who they are and the right to be who they are as well. But just looking around here in this space right here on World Purple Day, just people coming together and acknowledging people in our community, in our quite diverse community.
This is the Takeover. Today, we're talking about speaking up, what it means to speak your truth, and how young people are using their voices to stand up for what they believe in. Speaking up starts with practice. I've been able to prove this to myself. First, you'll hear some snippets from a slam poetry workshop led by our teacher Madden. We participated in this poetry workshop with the 10 enrichment class, who then performed some of their poetry at our Wear It Purple Day Community Day. Then back to our classroom, where you'll hear Leonardo sharing his voice through creative story. Let's flip the script.
Hello boys, how are you? Good. I did the opposite, caught masculinity, took accountability, took responsibility. I did the opposite, called myself a man, cultivated care, alchemized fear. Alright, that's a little bit of something for me. And you are going to have a chance to speak your truth today. We're going to do something a little bit different. And the difference is going to be that I'm going to ask you to work a bit different. I know you guys are real smart, but I need you today to tell the truth. So we're going to do a little icebreaker in a second. The number one thing is, this is not schoolwork. This is your voice, all right? You got to learn to speak your truth. That's what it's going to be about. And if you are feeling a little bit shame, or you don't know how to stand up and speak for people, speak for yourself, or you don't know how to speak without your voice shaking, or you feel a little bit shame, if I say the truth, or I say how I feel, then the boys are going to look at me weird. If you can't speak your truth and your boys can't back you up, then what kind of boys is that? Straight out. Straight out. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 big deep breaths together, and you teach your brain to breathe properly. You're allowing yourself to calm down, okay? So we're going to take 3 big breaths, and it goes like this. Or something really dramatic like that, alright? Just let it all out. So big in and big out, alright? Yeah. Ready? Let's go. Alright, okay. As number 2. Okay, alright. And number 3. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a little brainstorm. I'm going to write in the middle of the board. What's something you care about? Family. Family? Okay, good. All right, Adam, what do you care about?
My grades.
Your grades, okay. Grades. Religion? Good. What else? Yeah.
Helping others.
Helping others, good one. What else do we care about? Okay. When you say girls, do you mean love? Love? I love that. Okay, so when you say you care about girls, how do you talk to girls? You go all right with the talking with the girls? You go all right? Okay. Sometimes you feel like you can't figure out, when you like a girl, you can't figure out, if she likes you for real or if she likes you, kind of for the looks. or something. Okay? So how do you know if someone's being honest with you? How do you know if someone's being real with you? Yeah? How you know if anyone is being real? Number one ingredient, you need to be real with yourself. Because if you don't know who you are, and therefore what you want, therefore what you need, therefore what you desire, what you dream of, how are you even going to know that the person in front of you is real?
And a warm welcome to our special guests and community partners. Over the past 2 weeks, 10N have been taking part in a slam poetry workshop to explore our school values of truth and honour and build confidence in the power of our voices. Slam poetry is a type of performance poetry that's raw, powerful and personal. It's not just written, it's spoken from the heart.
This workshop gave us the chance to speak our truth, stand together and express what matters to us as young men and as a community. Today, in the spirit of bold voices, we're going to share some of that work.
My silence is not a yes, my body reads no. Your control is coercive, leading me into the unknown.
The hand that does is the one that forces. I am not your subject, I allow my choices.
My body speaks a repeat of no. Your control is yours alone.
If no means no, how can yes mean yes? Mothers, daughters, sisters and children, our brothers will have kept you safe.
How can this be right? They spend their day and night in fright. Hundreds and thousands dead. They are peacemakers is what they said. Running to find food and shelter, hoping this war won't go on any longer. Families being malnourished while others are being abolished. Children stuck under the rubble without a heartbeat, with blood flowing from street to street, struggling to cope with the heat, being starved of water and food for multiple weeks. They have nothing to live for except survival, with no family left to cry for, hoping the illegal entity would stop the occupation, the guns and bombs paid for by other nations. How can this be right? We will not let this end without a fight. The true colours of these lands will always be red, green, black and white.
I'm Leonardo. As I think about leaving school, I've been exploring what it means to tell my own story. I used AI to help me write this piece about my teacher, Mr. Kahuli, aka Master Splinter. And it taught me something about who gets to write my story. Madden was tired of being mocked for his bald head. At cafes, he was called Mr. Chrome Dome, and kids asked if his scalp was a crystal ball. One night, staring at his reflection over a bowl of tuna and spinach, he decided to prove boldness wasn't a weakness, but power. He created the bold plan. First, he tried t-shirts and posters, but people laughed, remembering his old teaching job. Madden rented a community hall and started reflection lessons before dawn. His poster read, "Reflection lessons, 4 to 6:30 a.m. Do you really know who you are? Let's reflect." People came, more specifically old friends who were on his side ever since the loss of Madden's hair, and others who decided to go for a one-time lesson. One by one, they faced the mirror and said 3 times, "I know who I am," with pride and dignity. The audience clapped, they cried, and proceeded to shave their head like Madden. Soon, the hall was full of shining heads. At the council meeting, Madden said, "Bold is not when you strip away appearances. You find what's real." Together, they turned into a giant mirror on the stage and shouted 3 times, "I know who I am." And the crowd erupted in applause, and Madden finally gained that respect he needed. Even the barista joined in, once mocked an innocent bold man, and now be in the no bold shaming celebration. And everyone lived in equality and like a normal human being. That's the story I created. What I realized is that AI didn't write it for me. It extended my own words and what I really knew about my teacher. And that's my lesson as I leave school. Don't let AI write your story. Let AI extend your story.
So the thing that I wanted to ask you about, the reflection component of the story that you've shared. Do you want to provide our audience just with a small amount of context around that reflection? The mirror lesson.
Oh yeah, so basically, a while ago was that Madden had like a little lesson talking about how we can build on our confidence. And Madden proceeded to pull out a mirror and made us tell ourselves 3 times in the mirror, I know who I am, 3 times in front of our classmates. Which, to be honest though, like, if you're ever in the bathroom, you might talk to yourself in the mirror, but I feel like that... But that's why exactly made us do that lesson. It's supposed to build confidence. In this story, the AI story, it's all about confidence, alright? Confidence to step up, be brave, and to just don't give up. Without confidence, I feel like you would just give up. It's what makes you a really good teacher. So you're a really good teacher, and it makes me a really good student.
Wow, listen to the power in our voices. Next, we asked some of the adults in our community about a time they stood up for what's right.
When I arrived here, I didn't speak anything. Just probably hello, good morning, couple numbers, that's it, I didn't know. It's a new place, new rules, new language, because if you go in another place and you speak the same language, it's gonna be a little bit easier, but when you don't know speak the local language, is really hard, but you have to keep going.
About that brave act of moving to Australia from Colombia, how did you feel when you moved from Colombia to Australia?
So I feel really excited. Because I say, you know what, it's a new adventure. I know that I'm gonna learn new things, but very inside, I feel a bit scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because most of every people in the life, we live in the comfort zone.
I get it.
You know
now.
what I mean? The people are scared to change the things. You know what I mean? And that's the point when you if you want different life, you have to do different things. That happened to me in Colombia. Because I would say if I wanna live a normal life in my comfort zone, I was still in Colombia, working for someone else, working in the same boring office, and that's it. But I say, you know what, I like to change my life. I would like to do different things. So I for that take the decision to come into Australia, and that's one of my best thing I do. Is I remember that Wars was my teacher for the uni. If you like a different life, you have to do different things. Because you don't live different life or different things if you do the same things every day.
Tell me a time where you stood up for what's right.
Gosh, I think it was later in my life. I struggled when I was a young person, but when I came to my adulthood, I think I stood up for a person that was being vilified from where they're from, especially from the Middle Eastern community, and for what they believe in. So in that particular situation, I stepped in and kind of helped de-escalate that incident. And I feel like that was the right thing to do. I think a lot of people would have, the bypassing, bystander and all that stuff. But I feel like I feel more confident and more informed to do that.
Of course. I think supporting my son in the introduction of Wear It Purple Day at his primary school. So like us, they're in their 3rd year of running it. And he was on the SRC. Copped a bit of backlash from his peers, but I was there and able to support him.
Being in Sydney, there's a lot of nightlife in Sydney, and sometimes people make wrong choices once they've been out to pubs and clubs. So I've had to intervene on a few situations just to keep people safe.
I had to stand up when there was racism going on in my year group. So I was a victim of racism, but I also decided to stand up for a friend that was being targeted for racism. So, for example, I was in year 8 and I was packing my bag up, and a student had made a comment about me not belonging here and that I should go back to my country, and I froze in that moment, and I was like, what do I do? And I spoke to my teacher, and my teacher had spoken to that student, and ever since then I've been really passionate about standing up for being a different person, and that's okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on? It's Donatelli. And something I care about is the awareness of ownership and how its definition and meaning is being changed in front of our eyes. I came across Lewis Rosman, who was a right to repair activist. He worked most of his life in New York and he moved over to Texas. And he's on social media trying to let people aware of how we don't own things for things that we pay for. As an example, you might buy a car that has heated seats, but you got to pay extra to have the heated seats. Or, let's say for example, you need to pay $1,000 just to get your screen repaired when you can go to local businesses and they'll give you the same repair at a much cheaper price. Not to mention, talking about media-wise, you might buy software that costs $200. 2 years down the line, it's basically deprecated, you can't use it anymore, and you can't get a refund. So you don't own anything. There's one saying that Lewis Rosman always says, and he's saying, if you can't fix your device, if you can't customize your own device, do you really own it? I want to speak up about the damage it has caused to local businesses and how we can overcome the problem in a world full of corporate greed. Yeah.
Something I want to speak up about is racism and discrimination within, today's culture and within today's society. There has been heavy scapegoating within today's community and, generalization within today's society. Like, there'll be someone who commits a crime, whether it's a petty crime, whether it's a serious crime, any sort of crime. People nowadays don't even question why they did the crime or feel any sympathy towards the victims or anything. The first thing they jump towards nowadays whenever someone commits a crime is, what religion are they? What race are they? What ethnicity are they? Why does race or religion or anything like that matter? What does that have to do with any of the thing that was happening? What does that have to do with any crime? This could have been anyone that did a crime. And then we're just generalizing, a certain group of people, a marginalized minority group of people, and saying that, this group is responsible for it, or this group. And the news didn't release any, information about that person. They didn't release, religious information. They just say, this person did a crime. And then people immediately jump to, speculate or assume what religion or race they are.
What's good, boys? It's Raphael in this house, and today I'm going to be talking about mental health. The stereotypes say, you're a man and all that, you have to be tough and all. But, the reality is, from transitioning to a boy to a man is, crazy, because, 1 second, you can be living your best childhood, and then boom, straight away you're in high school. You have to do all of this studying, and you have to learn stuff that you never learned. And then for me, I had to do stuff like adult work when I was really young. Now I'm speaking about this, and I'm actually opening up to it. It's hard work, but in reality, it's worth it. Because you can change so many people's lives just by saying oh yeah, are you okay? And do you have anything? Do you want to speak about anything? And that, just that one action can change a whole person.
Yeah. Speaking up isn't just personal. It's how we can change our communities to be more fair, fun, and free. When young people use their voices to stand up for what's right.
We acknowledge the Gadigal and Wangal peoples who are the traditional custodians of the land we learn on. We wish to acknowledge their elders past and present, and to acknowledge that Aboriginal people have and continue to be the first and primary knowledge holders, protectors and sharers of these lands. We wish to extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people listening in. As our podcast is focused on community, we wish to further acknowledge that First Nations people and cultures have much to teach us about community.
I'm going to speak about this and this and this, and then you're going to answer.
It's me, Donatello. I want to speak about racism. Racism is so bad. It is not cool. Anyone who is racist does not get free pizza.